Welcome, Jen.
Hi.
I'm so excited to have you here today.
I am super excited.
Okay, so if you don't know Jen and I actually met last year for a model call that I did for a shower set that I was doing for like a whole other project. And we got along so well right away. We had so much fun. I think you were here for almost like 3 hours.
Yeah, it was a hot minute.
Yeah, it was a long time. And more recently, Jen posted kind of a before and after using one of the photos that I took with the shower set. And you look a little different these days.
Yes. I've lost 100 pounds, 108 technically, which is super exciting. Yeah, it's just been like a whole lifestyle change for me, and it's been cool. It's like a whole journey.
And we're going to go into it today.
Yeah.
So again, a year ago, things were actually really different for you with life in general. Can you kind of tell us a little bit about what you were going through and what made you start this transformation?
Yeah, so I was like committing my whole life to this job, and I was driving 45 minutes to and from work every day, working like 50-hour weeks. Like I didn't have time to even live my own life really ever. And I left that job kind of cold turkey out of nowhere in November 2023. And then I just had all this time after Christmas, and I was like, what am I going to do with myself? So I decided to join Pilates and be like, Pilates princess, go on my hot girl walks. And then like the rest just kind of followed suit, but I was eating better. I felt better. Like we had a really sunny winter last year. We didn't have a lot of snow, so I could go on an hour-long walk in the middle of January. So I just had time to be me. And then spring kind of came around. I was like, I should probably get a job, maybe. I just, so I was looking around. I got this job at the mall that was local, so I didn't have to commute. I had just a regular like 37.5 hour schedule, so I could kind of fit that schedule into my Pilates schedule because I go to Pilates every day now, which is my favorite thing to do. But yeah, it was just easier for me to work that new life into my new fitness life, and it just kind of all fell together.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking a little bit off camera about how I think when you have to change your life a little bit, like because you quit a job or because of like a huge lifestyle change, it's almost like you, for the first time, like figure out how to work in workouts into your life or those hot girl walks or like whatever you're wanting to do.
Totally. And like I work in cosmetics, so I love it. It's a fun job. Every day is a good day, and I love being there. But I think I committed like my whole life to that. And I didn't realize that work-life balance still needs to happen even if you love your job so much. So now I just love all areas of my life. Like I have so much fun start to finish of my day. And my days are probably just as long now because I do a couple classes in the morning. I'll do a class after work sometimes too, but it's like it all makes sense. Like it all fits in. So it feels busy, but I'm doing more than just working.
Yeah, well, I had some pretty like crazy stuff happen this past September, and I've taken like a big step back from everything. And for years, people in my life would be like, you can slow down. And I'd be like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? This is just who I am.
Yeah.
Like, this is just what I do. And I did not understand that I was like working myself to the bone and that I didn't know how to, incorporate a lot of different things into my life, even like socially. And fitness was a big one. I always struggled with it. And I feel like after COVID happened and like, a lot of us canceled our gym memberships.
Totally.
And
included.
Right? Yeah, pre-COVID, I was going like 5 days a week. Yeah, but it didn't make much of a difference for me because I was still just like living such a crazy lifestyle.
Not getting enough sleep, not drinking enough water, you're on your feet all day. And like, I feel like it's hard too because we both have jobs that are our passions. So we don't see it as work a lot of the time, and we don't understand like the toll it's taking on us in other ways. It doesn't feel like it, but like truly it is taking a toll. So it's just easy to find some balance and work it in there somehow.
Weight blindness is kind of a big topic these days. And basically what it is when you're maybe at your biggest that you've ever been. And I hate using the word big, but it is like...
It is.
It's
like
just,
it is what it is.
It's just the word that it is. Exactly. So it's usually when you're at your biggest and you don't really even know it because you kind of just... you're just living your life that size, and that's fine. Both of us were plus size girlies, and we both were what we want. We both did what we want. We both ate what we want, whatever. We lived our lives in these bodies, and it was fine. But a lot of the time, that was my furnace. Sorry, it's really loud. Oh my God. A lot of the time, you don't notice what you looked like.
Yeah.
Or how maybe out of shape you were, or the physical differences until you do lose that weight.
Totally.
Was there a moment that you really noticed the weight blindness yourself?
Yes. So like you said, I've been a plus size girly. In my brain, I was just always carrying it well. I was in dance my whole life, and I've been in sports. I've never not been active, I guess. So I think in my brain, I just maybe was more fit than I thought I was, looked better than I thought I was. I still had some muscle mass from my whole life of these things. So I think it just piled up in my brain as not as big of a problem as it was. That said, I've always been healthy too. So there's never been a side in a doctor's office that's go lose weight. It's just never been made conscious to me, I guess. But then I lost, I want to say it was probably about 40 pounds by July, maybe 50, closer to then. But I had these shorts that when I bought them from Shein, I'm a 3X, no way. But everything fits small online. It doesn't. You look at the little size guide, it's pretty average. And my head is just they fit small. I'm not actually a 3X. I was in those shorts. But I went to put them on, and they were hanging off of me, and I was oh, and at that point, I didn't really think I looked that different. So I'm thinking these pants that I couldn't button up, that I now needed a belt to fully cinch halfway through. I'm okay, we've done something here. There's something that needed to happen.
Yeah, and it was worth continuing.
Totally.
Well. Yeah. It's funny you mention Shein, because that was one of the places I shopped a lot when I was plus size, and it's hard because we live in a place where there's not many plus size stores, and it offers in style fashion for plus size. And I would tell people I would buy from them, and they'd be like, "Oh my God, why are you buying from them?" And I'd be like, "Because it's the only place I can freaking shop."
Yeah, and find cute stuff. Other than those weird cold shoulder shirts at Torrid. What? And they're $80 for what? My shoulder? You're kidding.
I have never actually bought anything from Torrid.
No, because it's expensive.
It's very expensive. It is a lot of the times, and I hate to say it, Shein has a lot better quality than you think that they do.
Yeah.
For a lot of stuff. There's a few shirts I ordered 2019 that I was these aren't great, but
the early days of Shein.
Yeah, and they just got if over time, and I would get compliments on it, "Oh my God, Sarah, you look so good. Where'd you get this? I'm if I tell you, you're just gonna give me shit for it.
Yeah.
So it is really hard with that side of things as well, just finding things that you actually want to wear and feel good and feel confident in. Yeah. So I guess kind of continuing with the shopping and stuff, something I've been doing for the past 6 months or so is I've been thrifting a lot, because I want nice cute stuff, but not for $100 price tags still.
Totally.
And you can find stuff sustainably for decent prices. And I also do clothing swaps with Pillow Talk Studios, my boudoir company. So between that and thrifting, I've pretty much remade my whole wardrobe. But even 3 weeks ago, before my last swap, I went through and I got rid of half of my closet again, because I started putting stuff on and I was oh, this needs a belt. And I've always had bigger legs, and I probably actually have lipedema, so my legs aren't going to shrink anymore. It is what it is. But when you have a gap that big at the back of your pants, you're oh, this just isn't it. I know you could tailor them, but I also could just find something that actually fits.
Totally.
So it's been really interesting rebuilding my wardrobe, and also just seeing what I feel confident in now. Because I even remember growing up, and I'm sure you have this too, where it was oh, cover up.
Yeah. like I've been big literally my entire life.
Yeah.
Like I was the chubby girl in dance. I was a chubby girl on the basketball team. Like I've
Yeah.
not known a life under a size probably 10 or 12 my entire life.
Yeah.
So it's weird.
It is. Yeah. I even remember in like 7th grade, like buying size 10 pants.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, I mean, it's just what it was. And I remember, like, you know, the years leading up to that, like, my Oma would always be like, let's go shop at Tabby and the Petites. Like, because that's just the sizes that I wore, and that's fine. But, like, looking back, I'm like, why was I shopping at Tabby and the Petites at, like, 10 years old? Because I needed, like, a size 4 adults. Like,
Yeah.
and that's okay, but, like, it was hard to shop and, like, fit in that sense as well. But, yeah, it's really tough. And you posted on your Instagram story, what was that, last week?
Yeah.
Yeah. You had bought a pair of jeans and you're like, oh, these are so cute. Too bad they won't fit me in like 3 weeks.
Honestly, like I always buy the jeggings with the stretch or like a baggy fitting pant that I know is probably going to fit me tighter, but it's going to fit kind of thing. And these are like a straight leg, no stretch, like from American Eagle. And I ordered an 8 thinking like I'll fit them in a bit kind of thing. No, they fit right now. And there's like a little bit of a gap. I'm like, come on. Like I can't win.
That's so hard because
Yeah.
they're not cheap either.
No, it's like a little flex, but like it's annoying still.
It is.
you know?
Yeah. And like, I know there's probably someone listening that's like mad that we're, you know, going on about like this topic that like it is annoying, but it is. And that's why I actually waited so long to like really start rebuilding my wardrobe, because I was like, am I done? Have I capped? Like, am I gonna keep losing? I don't know.
And it's hard too. Like I bought these jeans in October thinking like I'm almost at my goal weight, like they're gonna be fine. And I bought them pretty tight. Like I couldn't super walk in those.
They fit, but they weren't wearable.
No, but I wore them. And now like I actually can't wear them.
Yes.
Like they're just like a mid-rise straight leg pant. Like they don't look cute, baggy. They're not really the vibe. And I'm annoyed about that because I'm thinking like I think it was like a 29, thinking like that's a pretty average size waist for the most part. No, like they just don't fit. And those ones were expensive. So I'm like, why would I do this until I like know that I'm actually done?
Over the last year, you've had a pretty fun and active dating life. There's no other way to say it. Jen's Instagram stories are A+, the best stories that you could follow. They're so funny.
If you're on the close friends, you know.
Oh, I felt so good when you added me to the close friends, because like I knew that you were posting some like good shit to like the public stuff, but the close friends got even better. And some of the things that happened to you are truly like, this would only happen to Jen.
Every time I'm like, okay,
Yep.
add that one to the plot.
Yeah. So what has your dating life been like now compared to 100 pounds ago?
I'd say like honestly drastically different, but like you said, like I've always had an active dating life. Like when I lived in Vancouver, I wasn't there to stay there. Like I was there for school. So like I wasn't looking to land in a relationship while I was there. Like I was just dating around, like going for dinner, having fun, meeting guys.
There's nothing wrong with that. I think people forget that like that's just part of dating.
Totally. And like I was working full time the whole time. So like I wouldn't go out if I couldn't afford to pay myself, like if I had to kind of thing. So like it was just fun for me. But like I was new to the Lower Mainland. I was living in one city, going to school in another, working in another. So like I didn't have enough time to spend in like one spot to really like build a life for the most part. And I was there for 4 years. So I was just like dating around, seeing the city, like if I could go into the city one day to like meet a guy, I would. I felt like it was like relatively safe. And I was a big girl then, but then I got bigger, as you do during COVID, especially. Like, oh my God, I actually don't know what I gained, but like talk about weight blindness in that sense. I truly didn't even think I gained any weight, and I absolutely did.
Yeah.
So then I moved to Kelowna in 2020, and I was like, this is built different. Like guys here assholes, like start to finish. My first Tinder match when I literally was like driving across the West Kelowna Bridge, coming to Kelowna for the first time, I get, "You're built like a fridge." I was like, whoa.
A fridge?
Okay.
A fridge?
I'm like, you matched with me to tell me that? Like, that's insane behavior. But I would get that all the time. Like, people just left, right, and center insults. And like, I think it's not funny because it's not nice, but like, thank you for saying it to me and not someone who would like take that to heart, you know? Like, that's crazy.
I think that like both of us knew that we were curvy big girls.
Totally. And like embraced it.
Yes.
Like, I never gave off like lack of confidence. So I think that
Exactly.
alone did me a lot of good.
Yeah.
But to pick those words to say to someone's insane behavior.
Oh my God. A fridge. And the thing is, I would have like tried to like come up with something to be like, and you look like, and I wouldn't be able to come up with anything because that's just how I am. Like, I'm like, I can't just like, I can't respond to an insult with an insult unless it's like a friend, like roasting or whatever. But like, I wouldn't be able to do that because then like, are you even better than that person then?
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
And like in my head, I'm like, I obviously think you're hot. So like, what are we doing here?
Exactly. Oh my gosh. So as your journey over the last year has been going on, was there maybe even like a moment you kind of realized that like men were starting to treat you a little bit differently, or?
Yeah, I think it's when I started like matching with guys that I obviously still thought were attractive, but then they were like vocally saying the same thing to me. Like, not that I'm like searching for validation, you know, but like they say the nice things to you. They're like, "Oh, you looked super cute in that outfit that you had in that one picture." I'm like, "Oh, like that's really nice. I don't look like a fridge." Like, that's so great. But then I find myself like matching with more attractive guys or like more athletic guys that I never would have, not never would have shot my shot with, but like I know probably the direction it's going in and I just would choose to not match with them. But yeah, I just feel like there's been like better quality men at this size, which is it's sad to say that like a skinnier body has gotten me a higher quality man on paper.
Yeah.
But like I've noticed it. So it's been a trend. Which is wild.
Yeah. And have the dates been better?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like I've never paid for a dinner. I'll be honest. I've never paid for my own dinner in my life. But now I have people like wanting to go to swanky restaurants like Erica Jane. I'm like, that's like a $75 steak. That's crazy.
You want to buy this for me?
Yeah, like little old me.
Yeah, why? Like, I don't understand. Meanwhile, before I was probably like, let's go for a beer. Like,
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Or like go for a walk. I'm like, I get the hint. I hear it. Like it's
right.
loud and clear. I also remembered guys like say they work out of town. A lot of them would be like, "Oh, you should come over tonight. I leave in the morning." I'm like, no, you know, like no. But now I have guys that are like, "Oh, I leave tomorrow for work, but I'd love to take you for dinner and a night out when I come home in 2 weeks." I'm like, you're not going to be thinking of me in 2 weeks, but like I'll take the compliment, I guess. Like, if you don't forget about me, great. You know where to find me. But like that would have never happened. They're always like looking for a little quick night with a bigger girl, in my experience.
Yeah.
And in my head back then, that was like still validation of some sort. And I didn't always bite. Not always. But like now it's like, oh, you actually want to see me and spend time with me and get to know me. Interesting.
I mean, let's face it, bigger girls are fetishized a lot of the
Yes.
time too.
Yes.
And it sucks. It really sucks.
It's just weird too, because it's like a weird conflict of confidence too, because you're like, I know I can pull a nice, handsome man. I also know that like a lot of guys don't admit to liking bigger girls.
Yes.
So it's like a weird catch-22 of like, I know you think I'm attractive, and that's like a little tick on the sheet, but also not attractive enough to like tell your friends about me or like get to know me. And like, that's a weird play, I guess.
Yeah, they just want, I hate to say it, like the bedroom side of it.
Yeah.
Which is also not cool.
So I've had people like match with me too that are like so objectively hot, and you're like, why? Like, why me? Like, I understand why me, but you don't know me, so why me, kind of thing. Like, as like a bigger girl, like, yeah, I carried it well. Like, I've always feel like I've dressed well. Like, I've dressed for my body. It wasn't always like a baggy sweater and leggings kind of thing. But I just like get caught in that mental loop of like, why would you choose me when you could like have a little hottie at the gym or something like that?
Right.
And then even now it's like kind of hard to get out of that cycle because like I've never not been confident. So now in a smaller body, I'm like, oh, it makes sense why me, but also like why me then versus why me now is totally different.
100%.
So it's like a weird little
I guess
game.
it's a society thing, right? Is that we still kind of think that bigger people shouldn't be able to swing someone who is super in shape, goes to the gym every day.
And like there's tons of hot Instagram couples that are like someone on either side is like objectively bigger and the other one is like visibly fitter. And we like celebrate that. So now in my head, it's like, am I that? Are we going to be that? Like, are you actually interested in me? Is it just like a one night fling? But like, you can't gauge it, you know? Like if you are a true, like I said, I've always been big. So I've really relied on a personality my whole life. And now I feel like I got both.
Yeah.
But like if you have a shitty personality and you're not fit and you're not taking care of yourself and you're just, you know, like there's a lot of components to that. You don't see it on a dating app because you don't know this person. So it's like strictly what you look like.
Yeah.
And you don't know the why behind it.
No, exactly. And I have friends who have, again, they've matched with like some pretty cool seeming dudes and they're talking to them for 2 days and they're like, this is like talking to a brick.
Literally a dry crouton. Like, what are you doing?
Get some moisture in your life, bro. Like, come on. Like,
or when guys make their dog their whole personality, I'm like, now I know.
Yeah.
There's nothing here.
Yeah. Do you match with a lot of fishing dudes? I'm sorry, I just struck something.
Fishing dudes. Every guy in this city. Here's my fish.
Yeah.
I'm like, cool. I don't relate. Like, right? I never will.
And I like in my own friend groups and stuff, like I know people that like go fishing once in a while, but it's not like
I'm not baiting a hook. I'm not catching a fish. I'm not reeling a line. I'm not gutting it. Like there's not one bit that interests me in that. No. Same with hiking. You won't catch me on it. Like even now, I'm not doing it.
No. Hot girl walk is one thing.
Yep.
Yeah. It's going to be flat or like mostly flat.
Yeah.
Don't take me up a mountain.
I went on a date with this boy that I was dating and I had to work later that day, 12:45. So I'm thinking like a walk? Sure. That sounds great. He brings me up Knox Mountain. I'm like, dude, this is a hike. It's like, it is a hike. On Google Maps, it says hiking trail. Okay. And he's like, well, we'll just do like the top part. We'll go like up here. We'll do the top part. Like, this is a hikey walk. Why are we doing it? I don't want to do it. Didn't want to do it. I didn't get sweaty. But like, honestly, I don't want to hike.
No. And being in cosmetics and stuff too, I feel like you don't want to tan either. You don't want that like sun damage. You don't want like all of these like sweaty like things that like it's gonna ruin your lashes.
Yeah,
like,
I also don't want to have to go home and like redo my face before work. I can't just roll into work. Like I have to look a certain way for work every day. Don't jeopardize that by taking me for a walk. That's a hike.
As I was saying before, Jen has a very fun, active, ridiculous dating life. And yesterday was the Super Bowl.
It was the Super Bowl.
And what did you do?
Well, the Chiefs lost. So here's
I didn't even know this. I didn't even know they lost, actually.
Oh, no, they lost. It was the worst game. They lost one game this season and then this one.
Oh, my God.
And it was a wipeout.
Who's the other team?
The Eagles. It was a sad state of affairs because they won to the Eagles 2 years ago. This was their chance at winning 3 Super Bowls in a row, and they dropped it.
Shit. Okay, moving on. Anyways, what did you get up to during the Super Bowl yesterday?
So let me walk you through my night. I go to Kelly O'Brien's downtown for this little rooftop party. I'm dressed up. Okay, I have like my t-shirt dress, my high boots, my fur jacket. Slaying.
Yeah.
Okay, I felt good.
Let's go, girls.
I walk in, not a single person dressed up. Not one.
What?
Not one. They're wearing jerseys and jeans and like sneakers. Like they're doing the right thing. I just thought maybe downtown Kelowna, on a party.
As a woman, too, like, you would kind of expect that, like, there'd be other girlies, like, dressed up.
You would think, because
fun.
not everyone's there. Like, I actually like football. I was there for the sport.
Yeah.
I was there for the vibes.
Yeah.
I understand, like, a lot of people are one way or the other, too. You know, like, they're all sport or, like, all vibes.
Mm-hmm.
So I expected to not be the only one, but I was. And I was also, I think, one of the only single ones in the room by the looks of it, which also in my favor, but also not at the same time. But anyways, we get into, like, the first quarter. The Chiefs has not made a single play. Not one. Like, they acted like they've never seen a football before.
And they're, like, standing there, like, do-do-do, twiddling their thumbs.
Straight up. Like, Mahomes was not even, like, in the room with us yesterday. So I go out on the smoke deck and, like, I need to light one up. Okay? Like, I need to mentally move on from whatever is happening in this game. And there's, like, this whole bar full of guys. Are you familiar with that patio?
Yes.
Okay, so there's 4 guys just watching the game, drinking beer, and I'm out there alone, hitting my doob, as you do.
Yep.
And I'm like, interesting, that's a really nice jersey. This guy's wearing a Travis Kelce jersey. And he's like a tall, handsome-looking guy. So I'm like, I want that jersey. How do I get that jersey? And this game is not happening at this point. So I'm like, I need to make my own game. So I go back to my table. I make this little bingo card.
Flash it to the camera. Okay.
Super Bowl bingo.
Okay.
Okay, super cute.
What does it say?
Okay, so on here there is someone buys me a Diet Coke, get a photo with one of these dads, get someone's 50-50 tickets, go home alone, that one was an important one, get the Kelce jersey, that's in the middle,
Yeah.
win a prize, get someone's number, meet 3 dads, and smoke a joint with someone.
Okay, good.
Like, I made this on the fly because I was like, it has to happen.
Yeah.
Like, I have to do these things now.
Yeah.
So then I go back out there with my little mental note of my bingo card, and I sit down because I see there's an empty seat. I'm like, is anyone sitting here? And they're like, no, have a seat, doll. And I'm like, okay.
Doll.
We got it. We're in. We're in. So I start talking to the guy beside me, and we're chatting away.
What's the age range?
Oh, like probably 45 to 50, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Like dads.
Dads.
Like if they weren't dads, they were dads, basically.
Yeah.
That was the vibe. And that's usually where I thrive, is among the DILF community.
Fair. Yeah.
At all sizes. DILFs love that. Anyways. I started talking to the guy beside me, and I was like, I see this sign on the table, and it was like for Josh and his friends. I'm like, which one's Josh? And it was the guy in the Kelce jersey. So I'm like, take note. So I'm talking to this other guy, and we're chatting away, and he's like, can I buy you a drink? I was like, I don't drink. I just drink Diet Coke. And he's like, oh, can I buy you a Diet Coke? I'm like, ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
Yes, you can. So I get my first square, and then I go back into the room with my friends, sitting down, watching the game. Second quarter happens. Still haven't made a play. Not one play. So now I'm friends with these guys. And I sit down, and they're like, were you smoking weed last time? And I was like, yeah. Do you want to smoke a joint? I'm like, yes, I do. I have to.
Square 2.
Yeah. So that happens, and it's like I'm just making friends at this point. I'm like still considering this jersey. Then it's halftime. They all come in because there's prizes and stuff. And like we're all they're like in a lineup at the back of the upstairs bar, and my table's back here. So I get up and I start talking to them. They call my number on my ticket,
So
and
you
I want a
won a
jersey.
prize, yeah.
I want a jersey, a Seahawks jersey, but like, when am I ever going to wear that?
Yeah.
I'm not, but it was apparently a good one, so whatever. They're like, yeah, girl, go get him. Like, yes. I go get my jersey. I come back, and I was like, do you want to trade? And he's like, I don't know, like, it's a game-worn Travis Kelce jersey. I was like, game-worn? Bet. Just go sit back down. And then I go back to talk to them because it's like 50-50 time. And I have this little square. So I'm like, hey, if you win, can I have it? And he says, yeah, for sure. I'm like, what? Like, what are guys? Truly, what are they? And I was like, pinky promise? He hands me his tickets.
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God.
What? So I sit back down, didn't win, unfortunately. That would have been too good.
But you got the ticket.
I did get the ticket. Like, I physically secured the bag and didn't get the money. But that's okay.
It's fine.
It wasn't my money in the first place.
You won a Seahawks jersey.
I sure did. So then I go back outside. Third quarter, still no play. They didn't play football last night. So I go back out there.
Did they smoke some dudes before?
They had to. Mahomes was crying by quarter 3. There was a picture of him with like a sad lip.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was insane. So then I asked Josh, I was like, listen, can I sell you this jersey? Because I'm never going to wear a Seahawks jersey. He's like, how much do you want for it? I'm like, $500. And he like half considers it. So I'm thinking like, if he's willing to give me $500 for this jersey, just trade it.
Yeah.
Just give me your Travis Kelce jersey.
I also like wasn't expecting this jersey to like be worth that.
No,
much.
me neither. But apparently people care about this guy. I don't watch the Seahawks, so I don't personally care about it. But it was a hot, like people wanted it, so whatever.
Damn.
I had a hot commodity. So then like end of the game comes around, and I'm like, I go back out there because I'm like, I have one shot left. So I'm like, Josh, can we trade this jersey? I won't take your money. I'll just take your jersey. And he's like, I can't. Like, I love this jersey. And I look at this other guy that I had been talking to all night, who then gave me his number, and it was a big whole thing. But he wants me to go to Kendrick Lamar with his daughter at the end of March because he doesn't want to go. I'm like, sure, I can be friends with an 18-year-old. Like,
you did a great
sure.
halftime last night.
I know. I'm like, you don't want to go to
Fantastic.
that? I will go. I'll fill your spot. So got his number, whatever. He's like actually serious about that.
Damn.
But I was like, what are you going to do about this? And he looks at me. He's like, what would you like me to do about this? I'm like, well, I didn't win the 50-50 with your number. So the least you can do is get me this jersey. He looks at Josh, literally says, hey, man, I said I'd do something for her. Can you give her your jersey? He looks me up and down, jersey off, hands me a jersey. And I look at them both. I was like, that was so easy.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even say you did anything wrong,
I did nothing.
rude, bad. You didn't do anything. You just asked a few times.
I felt like if I got little things out of them,
Yeah.
that the big ticket item would eventually happen, you know?
built the relationship.
Brick by brick.
You built the trust.
I did.
You got the jersey.
I got the jersey. So then I went and put the jersey on. So I was like, then you can't take it back, you
Yeah.
know? Like then it's physically on me and
Yeah.
it's mine.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it too and it's like legit.
I would have like spilt a beer on myself and be like, oh no, I have to wear this jersey.
Oh no.
Oh no. As I pour beer on myself.
Yeah, so then I'm like, do you want the Seahawks jersey at this point? And he's like, well, I need to put something on. I'm like, okay. I run away. I grab this jersey. I'm like, here you go.
I want to know where he got the jersey from anyways. Like,
This man is loaded.
okay.
Loaded.
That makes more
like
sense.
when I
now.
Googled how much a game worn jersey from Travis Kelce was, it was $9,000.
Ah!
Yeah. I'm like,
No!
take my Seahawks jersey. I'll wear this with pride.
God, I wonder also if he's loaded, he might have like connections, or he got it as like a gift or something too. Like you never know.
Maybe if I'm being honest, it felt like drug money was in the room with us, but none of my business. I got a jersey.
No, his job's his job. You didn't. Again, you didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, I also don't have a real name when I go out. I am not Jen with two N's.
No, you're not. And I won't ask you what you went by last night, but like, what are some of your past like?
So most recently, my best friend and I decided I'm going to be Poppy, like Penelope, but
Cute.
Poppy. You know, like a cute little bubbly little. Doesn't sound fake because it's so intentional sounding.
Yeah. Oh, I like that one.
Yeah.
That's really fun.
Poppy got a jersey last night.
So after you got the jersey, like, was that at the end of the night kind of
Yep.
thing? Okay. And then did you just like go back to your table with your friends and you're just like,
Yep, exactly.
perfect.
Yeah, I actually, okay, it was less low-key than that. I go back and I was like, I got the jersey.
Even better. Oh my God. And then you went home and took a picture for Instagram and you
Sure
posted
did.
it. And then
Yep.
you texted me. You're like, Sierra, I have the best story for you. I wasn't expecting it to be that good.
It was saucy. Like
Yeah.
start to finish, my whole night. Like I feel like I won the Super Bowl because the Chiefs certainly did not, but I did.
We have one more story about Jen's dating life. This past, was it September?
Yeah,
You went to a wedding
sure did.
and you were again the hot commodity.
Because I was the only single girl in the
Okay,
room,
fair enough. Fair enough.
and I didn't know that.
Oh, that makes it even better.
Yeah.
This had me. The first two she uploaded, and I was like driving to Value Village. I sat in the parking lot of Value Village just waiting for these stories to be uploaded. Because I was like, I have to listen to them now. And also, this woman like walked past me. As I was like watching these stories, and she was like she seriously like looked at me and was like what the fuck are you doing? She was so confused, and I'm just watching these stories in my frame. Like, anyways, I'll hand you the mic. Please tell the story because it's so ridiculous. It could have been an episode of a TV show.
It could have been a series.
Yeah,
of a TV show. So this was probably back in March last year. I had met this guy when I was back home in Prince George. Mm-hmm. And we were talking, and he was like, yeah, I'm moving to Vernon. And I'm like, oh, cool. I live in Kelowna. Like, let's keep in touch kind of thing. And we didn't really. But then we had kind of been talking earlier that week of the wedding, and he said that he was bartending a wedding up at Silver Star. And I was like, oh, yeah, cool. I'm going to a wedding up at Silver Star next weekend, too. And I didn't know that it's like a one wedding weekend kind of thing. Like, had no idea, but we're chatting away. And he was like, oh, we should maybe hang out, like, before or after, like I'll be up there all weekend because of this wedding. I'm like, yeah, we'll see where we're at. Like I have a huge family, so didn't know what time would allow. But I go to the bar that night before the wedding with my family who's bartending this guy. So I'm like, well, you didn't tell me that you bartend here.
That you were literally the bartender of this place.
Yeah. So great. Okay. He sees me with my whole family. I leave and he is like, hey, like I noticed you're with your whole family. Was that you? I just didn't want to like interrupt, but I'm off shift if you want to grab a beer. I'm like, yeah, sure. So that's when it starts. Okay, we got the first guy. And then he ends up walking to move my car. I still had to unload my bag and everything. So he walked me up to my hotel room. Just a nice gentleman. Mm-hmm. We exchange a little smooch. Okay?
Cute.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next day, he's the bartender at the wedding that I'm going to. And there's so many components that make this absolutely insane. And I'll start from the 6 a.m. wedding makeup. Mm-hmm. So I do my makeup. I go to leave. I physically run into this man in the elevator. It's the photographer for the wedding. Didn't know that. And he's like, oh, you look great. Like, these girls look amazing. You did such a good job, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, thank you. Super flirty.
Just doing my job.
Yeah,
I'm so good at this.
Super flirty. Yep. And I didn't know that was him until he like went up there when I was doing touch-ups and he was taking pictures of these girls. I'm like, okay, add another layer. So we have bartender and we have photographer and me. And then I'm leaving the elevator. My cousin is in the hallway. He's like, oh, Jen. I'm like, hey. He's like, come meet my groomsmen. I'm like, I don't think I need to do that. Go meet the groomsmen. All three of them are like, oh, hi, Jen. We've heard so much about you. I'm like, okay.
You know that you've been the topic of conversation.
Yes, as the only single girl in this entire wedding. So there's one specifically, I guess, that like had peak interest, and he's cute. I mean, he ended up being crowd surfed later in that wedding, which I think I posted about. And like me and Mr. Clean, like I can't. I'll have to find the video, but there's like a pan of him being crowd surfed. It was just his shiny head in the crowd.
Oh,
and I was like, this can't be real. So then there's photographer, groomsmen being crowd surfed, bartender, and Jen. And then on my way to the wedding, also, I guess we're backpedaling here, but on my way to the wedding, I hear like, oh, you look so good. And I look up, I'm like, who the fuck is that? Like, we're on a mountain. It's not, like, the population's not big, but, like, the Okanagan is fairly large.
It is, but it isn't at the same time.
You just don't expect to see this many men that you know in one room when you don't want to see anyone you know in that room. Yeah. But it was this guy that I dated in the summer biking with this guy that I had actively been sleeping with this summer. Not at the same time. I'm not a dog.
But the odds.
And I think about it, I'm like, one's a pro BMX rider. It makes sense that he was up there. Mm-hmm. The other one is a helicopter pilot. And I know he bikes. I didn't know he, like, bikes. Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't know he'd be biking with, like, a big bike rider. So they whip past me. I'm like, oh, my God. There's more of you up here? Literally 5. There was 5 guys by the end of the night that I was, like, dodging like bullets. 'Cause I'm like, you can't see me flirting with all of you all at once. And then I know that I've, like, dabbled with all of you all at once. Bartender is leaving his shift. Mm-hmm. I'm outside with groomsmen, making out with groomsmen. Bartender sees me making out with groomsmen. I'm like, this is not good. But groomsman is saying, like, I want to move out west, and, like, Kennedy talks a lot about you. And I was like, are we getting married right now at this wedding? Like, is this what's happening? He literally goes back inside, and I was like, oh, like, are we, like, I thought we were having a good time. He's like, well, I just want to, like, make sure it's okay with him. And I was like, are you asking for my cousin's blessing? Like, are we getting married? What is happening here?
What are you asking him? Like, is it okay if I mingle with your cousin? Like,
I think so. Like, we were attached. Like, we were making out. And he just stopped midway. Was like, I just need to make sure it's okay with Kennedy. Like,
oh my God. Okay, so you're leaving the next day.
Yeah.
And
I run into groomsmen in the elevator.
yeah.
After I've missed all these calls from bartender.
Mm-hmm.
And he had tried to also see me that evening. As if he didn't just see me making out with a groomsman. It could not have been messier, honestly. Oh, and there's also, I don't know if I posted this, but when I was leaving, I went to grab, like, a snack to get me through my drive home.
Yeah, you got a hot dog.
Yeah. Oh, that thing was insane. It was in a croissant.
Yeah, I just remember because I was like, I need to go to this place and get one of these.
Trust me
so
to
good.
find a hot dog in a croissant literally anywhere in the world, but I'm glad I did. But I was leaving and I saw the helicopter pilot on his bike, and I was like, just had to have one more little kick at the can.
Yeah.
Insane.
The odds of this happening are not high.
No.
Yeah. Like you said, the Okanagan, it's big, but it's also not at the same time.
Especially because, like, two of them aren't from here.
No.
One moved here to work and the other one was here for the wedding.
And you don't live in Vernon.
No, I don't.
You're here for, like, well, today to record this, but also, like, that wedding, you're there for the weekend. Like,
yeah. And, like, one of the guys lives in Coldstream. Mm-hmm. The other guy lives in Kelowna. Like, there was no reason for all of us to be up there to make the absolute fuckery of my life the way it was that day. But it happened.
Did any of them, like, try to talk to you, like, after that weekend, or?
Yes. Well, yes. Like, I was still actively kind of talking to most of them.
Yeah.
But I don't think they realized that I was the key component. Like, I don't think they've ever have unpacked that, which I'm grateful for, because that could have been
and you're still
messy.
like friendly with the one that you dated for a bit, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh God, it's too much. I don't know how you do it.
It was insane. I was like, I feel like I've girl bossed a little too hard. Like,
no kidding.
Just keeping my options open, and they're all on the same mountain with me.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was just gonna say, and again, like, that's part of dating too, is that, like, you never know what's gonna happen. But not five at once. Like,
and like 3 of them in the same room all night. That's crazy.
So since you are pretty active in the dating scene, where do you fall with the topic of ghosting?
I don't ghost. I don't like being that girl. Do I want to sometimes? Yes. But because I've been ghosted so many times, like, as a bigger girl, it doesn't feel good. But it also sometimes doesn't feel good when they do give you a reason, because you're like, I know that's not the reason. Like, I went on one date with this guy. We had, like, such solid conversation for, like, 2 full hours. And he's like, I don't know. It just feels like we don't have anything in common. Like, you could just say you're not attracted to me. Like, that's fine.
And that's okay.
It is. Yeah. But, like, confrontation doesn't feel good either. So, like, I don't ghost. But I did put it out to my Instagram community. And it's pretty, like, split, I would say. One says, no to ghosting. It hurts my tummy. I can't.
I personally have never been in the situation where I've had to ghost someone. I mean, I've definitely had, like, people where I thought I could be, like, friends, because I feel like you can ghost friendships too, right? And, like, I've done, like, a slow kind of, like, swindle off kind of thing when I feel like I'm the one putting in the effort and they're not giving me anything. I do think that there is, in certain situations, a time and the place where it is okay.
Yeah. Like, there's been a lot of feedback of saying, like, if they're creepy. One said, where was it here? Yes, I do it to assholes who deserve it. I'm like, yes, queen.
But it's true, though. Like, if you go out with someone and they're making, like, snide comments or something the whole time, it's like, why would I even like want to give you the time of day?
Yeah. Oh, and one I thought was interesting too. She said ghosting is okay because if I get criticized, I'm a sensitive bitch about it. I'm like, you know what? I feel that sometimes.
Totally.
Like if you're just going to ghost me because of something that's going to not make me feel good, I'd rather just like make up a story in my mind.
Yeah, and I think it goes into kind of like the whole like, do you want to live your life wondering why
Yeah,
over someone that you maybe saw a handful of times?
totally.
They probably had a girlfriend.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Right? Like there's all of these things like, would you rather just, I feel like you might just feel better not knowing.
You can tell yourself your own story and it can make you feel great. So I mean, I do that. Like I just feel like sometimes someone was like, they're not ready for a real relationship, or like they don't like a girl who owns their own house because they are not there yet. You know, like just little things that you can tell yourself that are like probably not even close to true. But
So I guess with you now having 100 pounds gone, when you were bigger, was there a higher ghosting rate?
yes.
And now do you find people are more serious about like actually maybe wanting to like pursue a relationship?
Yeah, you know what? Okay, let's dive in.
Okay.
I feel like back then I always had like not a roster, but like I had different eggs in the basket at all times.
Yeah.
If they ghosted or they trailed off, I'd still have like a few eggs in the basket. I never left that mentality. I carried it through. So now I'm like, I have all these eggs in the basket, but like they're getting serious and they're intentional. So I'm like, shit, like I have to be an adult about this. So like I was never the one ghosting before, but now it's like I could be put in the face of ghosting and I won't do it. But like then you have to be forced to be a real adult and say like this isn't working, or like I found a connection with someone else, or I'm seeing someone right now, and like I'd have to let these random dads I met last night know.
Right. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's hard. And like do you know what you want? Like do you have like a plan of like what you want for your life? Like are you wanting to get married and
I
stuff?
do. Like I'd get married tomorrow. Literally put me on Married at First Sight, I'd be down. Like
You'd be such a good contestant.
tell me about it. I applied for Love is Blind in Toronto and they said no. I'm like, you don't even know what you are missing out on right now.
It's probably because it was Toronto.
True.
Yeah, because I know that they like want more like localized. Although it's funny because for the States, they had like, wasn't it Seattle? And they had people from Portland on it. And then there was so much of like, well, I don't want to move to Portland and I don't want to move to Seattle. And like, what are we going to do? And it's like, why are they allowing these people? Like,
yes, like put me in Toronto, I'll move to Toronto. Like if I'm getting married at the end of it, or I'm just a personality on the show, like I'll go to Toronto.
Yeah, totally. Oh my gosh.
But yeah, I do want to like settle down. I want to have kids. I want to like the regular little white picket fence life. I guess has always been. I mean, I was raised in like a traditional family, like I value that, so that's what I want. But I feel like the more, like when I was talking about like quality men that I'm dating, I'm seeing more of that. So where guys before were like, I don't want to settle down, I don't want kids, I just work,
to
blah blah
sleep
blah.
with you.
Yeah, and it's like a hard realization because it's like in my head I'm like, why wouldn't you want to sleep with me? But at the same time, it's like, why wouldn't you want more than that when I'm like all these other things that are so much more than that?
Yeah.
So I am seeing that now, and now it's kind of getting to the point of like real guys wanting real things with a real me, and me trying to like sift through of what makes most sense for my life now. It's hard when there's like too much quality on the table, and it's never something I ever thought was going to be a problem.
And you never know until you officially start.
Yeah.
And then you don't, the other half of that is like, okay, if I say no to this guy who I really like, but I go for this guy for another reason, and we break up in 2 weeks, I can't go back after saying it's not the same.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's not
different.
It's not fair.
Like it almost feels like a ghosting leaves a little bit of a door open sometimes, and it's definitely like the easy way out for sure. But like to have the grown-up conversation of like, I'm seeing someone else and it's going really well, you can't put a foot back in that door. Like you look stupid, so you really have to be intentional about it. But then you don't know where you're going till you get there, so it's hard.
Yeah, and you just dated someone for a couple months.
I did.
And was it right before Christmas?
Right before Christmas.
Yeah, like days, right?
December 17th.
Jesus Christ. He split up with you, and wasn't his reasoning like he didn't know he wanted or something?
He said he needs to find out who the fuck I am, and that he doesn't want to be loved right now. I'm like, you don't get to choose when you are loved, you know? Like, if anything, though, I learned a lot about myself in my current lifestyle, because, like, he'd sleep till noon. He ate McDonald's 3 times a day.
Oh my God.
I was like, do you want me to fill your water bottle for you? Like, I was literally...
Did you poop today? Like...
When's the last time you ate vegetables?
Yeah, for real.
But, like, all these things that, like, I now value in my current healthy lifestyle was like, oh, I've definitely, like, changed. Like, I'm a different person. There was a point in my life where I would have settled with that and, like, the constant seeing each other as quality. And it's like, you don't have a single quality of life to live for right now. And, like, we could not be more different. So those things really, like, I think kicked me into 2025 with a fresh mindset, because now I know I'm, like, capable of these things. Like, all the things I used to not be, I am now. Yeah. And I feel like it's just attracting goodness into my life at this point.
And you know your values now, too. Like, you actually know what you want in a person because you had that experience. Like, is it shitty? Yeah, it is. But, yeah, it was just kind of funny because you, like, started posting him a bit on Close Friends, like, a week before. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, single. And I was like, what? Like, where is this coming from? And then, we talked about it. And I was like, it's shitty because it was right before Christmas. Like, you're gearing up for the holidays. You're doing your, like, you know, your fun stuff. You're watching your Christmas movies, all of that.
Yeah, my mom's like, do I have to buy him something? I'm like, actually, no, you don't.
No, not at all. You don't. He's not in the picture, like, the bye boy. But... yeah, blessing and a curse, like, at the same time.
Totally. Yeah. Like, I'm definitely, like, a firm believer in, like, you learn something from every experience, and everyone that comes into your life, like, you can pull something from it. Like, I don't think it's a waste of time, but I truly, like, was put in the face of what I used to settle for, thinking was, like, peak, was absolute dog shit in the real world. Like, I would have never... I'm glad it was only 2.5 months of my life. Like, I wasn't even sad about it. I left that and I was like, you are never going to change. No. That's crazy. Like, I know it's possible because I've done it. And this is just how you are at 30 years old. That's crazy.
One of the last questions we'll go into for this episode is, with your busy lifestyle, because you work full time, you're a Pilates princess, you're always doing things. Like, you're always doing, like, super fun things. And how do you navigate keeping your lifestyle of healthy eating and Pilates and hot girl walks? Like, how do you navigate that while dating? Because I feel like some people wouldn't take it well when you're like, well, I have Pilates at, like, 5 o'clock that day.
Yeah.
Yeah. How does that work?
I'm just, like, pretty forthcoming about it. Like, on my bios in my dating apps, it says, like, I go to Pilates every day. Like, I track my macros. I live this healthy lifestyle. And, like, I need someone on board with that because it's a big part of my life. And, like, I am still trying to actively lose, like, probably another 15 pounds. But, like, I can't do that by just going out to eat every second day with strangers. So it definitely has changed a lot, but I'm just, like, forthcoming about it. Or I'll say, like, Tuesday I'm free, or next Thursday I don't have Pilates after work. So I'll make it work. But then for me, I work it into my weeks that I'm still living a healthy lifestyle, because way back when, I was so rigid. Like, it wasn't healthy, the way I was losing weight. And now I'm trying to find that balance again, because it's not so much like fat loss mode anymore. It's like finding the balance and also still working on a deficit. So there's things at certain restaurants that I know the macros. I have it, like, in my app. I can just pre-plan for it. But if I have, like, a little bit more notice, then I can live a little bit more normal life. And then it's less rigid for them. Because I don't need them to think that that's me every single day too. Like, Super Bowl last night, I was not eating in a deficit.
You were at Kelly
I will tell you that for free. Oh, I was at Kelly O's.
Did you have nachos?
I had nachos. Good. I had chicken lips. I had cake.
Yeah.
McCracken rolls.
Oh,
like
so
I was
good.
in deep. Ooh, so good.
Oh, for those who don't know what Kelio's is, it's just like an Okanagan chain. I actually think there's some down on the lower mainland too.
We had one in Prince George and they took it away from us.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah.
But they just have the best apps ever, and
They do fried food.
Yeah.
So well.
Yeah, McCracken rolls are like, I think, just like imitation crab and cream cheese and spices in a spring roll.
Deep fried.
Yeah.
In a spring roll.
Yeah. So when you're going there, you're not going there for like a salad. No way. You gotta have like, and pachos are like lattice fries with like cheese and bacon and stuff on them, and the sauce is like A+. But there's just like life balance, right?
Yeah.
And that it's okay to have that, because like you said before, like you lived really rigidly and you were losing weight, but like not in a good way. And I feel like a lot of women have been in that boat, and it is really hard to like realize like what you're doing to yourself and what expectations you are setting for yourself and what is health to you.
Totally. And like I am a go-getter. Like if I set myself to do something, I'll go do it, and I'll just take it on full force. So like I've literally constantly been losing probably 10, 12 pounds a month, and it's been pretty routine. Like I just track my macros, eat my protein, get my sleep, drink my water.
Yeah.
And that's like my whole life, and I'm fine with it. But now that I am trying to incorporate like more normalcy into my day, I still do those things, but I'm like forcing myself now to like be more social and go out and do more things, and not just order like a salad with no dressing or dressing on the side, and, like grilled chicken but no pecans, because those are high in fat.
Because otherwise you're like, I don't know, you limit yourself so much.
Yeah, and like I'm okay with eating the same things every day in order to like allow for those nights here and there. But I just need you guys to know that like this isn't normal for me. Like I need to plan for it. But then it also makes a new respect for them almost, that I want to plan for it. So I feel like it's been better than I thought it would, for sure.
Yeah, you haven't had any like negative feedback.
Nope, not no.
You know what? I feel like, especially if these guys you're seeing now are looking for wife material too.
Yeah.
That's probably something that they are seeing and being like, yeah, she has her shit together.
Yeah, and the only thing I have noticed with myself more than anything is I'm thinking like, yeah, I have this healthy lifestyle, but these guys don't know what I was before. So in my head, I'm like still like not tiny.
Yeah.
But I don't want them thinking like you could stand to lose a few pounds, because I'm like, bitch, you don't even know. Like, you don't even know.
Yeah.
Or I don't want them to like see me eat a burger and think that that's what I do every single day. Not that it matters, but it's like, I am in this whole new lifestyle and you don't know me prior to this. So like, I need you to know how this is fitting into my life. And it's like a weird, like, probably just mental hurdle for me to understand that like, guys don't just view me as a bigger body anymore. So I'm pretty average now. Like, it's just different.
Hearing yourself like, I'm just average now. You were beautiful before and you're beautiful now. But I know what you mean, where it's like you fit into society's normal size range.
Yeah.
And I feel that really hard, because I wasn't also, again, like I was buying a size 10 when I was, like 12 years old. So like I completely get it. And yeah, for like the first time in my life, I'm wearing like a 6'8".
Yeah.
Which is fucking weird.
And like consistently too.
Yes.
Not just because Sheen has smaller sizes and am I a medium now. No,
Yeah.
like it's actually just the way it is, which is so cool.
Okay, to end off our interview, if our listeners could take away one thing from this whole interview, what should it be?
Okay, I don't want to sound cheesy, but I would say truly to believe in yourself, honestly, because this wasn't a journey I went on for any particular reason. Like I had time to do it, so I did it. But I knew, like I've always just seen myself in a better light than I think people have painted me. And sometimes like I was bullied all through elementary school. Like I've lived a life, and now on a complete different side of that coin, I'm like, I'm still the same person, and people are finally seeing that. So if there's something you need to change or feel like you want to change, or something's inhibiting you from like being your true self, like do those things, because you'll get there. It'll feel good. It'll feel like you're in your true self, and all these good things just fall into place after that.
And I think too that you don't have to, like, you don't have to lose the weight for that either.
No, like for a lot of people too, that's like finding confidence in the weight you're in.
Exactly.
Like I was always there, so that wasn't the problem. You know, so like if it's something that's bringing you down, that's something you can fix, and it'll help your true self show through. And then maybe it's a different journey down the road, but
just believe in yourself.
Yeah. Share.
Yeah, I think it's great. No, I think that's super awesome. And in a world where we live around so much negativity too, and so many, standards with things. And yeah, like to me, you are the same person I met a year ago. The same fucking hilarious Jen who has like this crazy confidence and always has. But yeah, like you walked in the door today and I was like, oh my God, like you look so good.
That is my favorite thing now. Like when I go places, they're like, what have you done? And I'm like, oh, little old me.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. But it does feel good to be like told these things too. Like
it does.
Yeah.
Especially like it's recognition of hard work. And like, I won't say it was honestly even that challenging to do. It was just like a whole new lifestyle for me. So like that being recognized feels good more than like the weight loss itself. Like people are seeing me for me, and they're also seeing this new light in me, which is really cool.
Okay, so we've reached the end of our episode today. I'm so grateful that you were able to finally make it out here to record.
So much fun. And if we had done this last week like we planned, we wouldn't have the Super Bowl story.
No, we wouldn't. No, she was supposed to come, and then we actually got snow for the first time.
Literally all
Yeah,
season.
like I was like, is there even anything else to say? No, we literally got snow for the first time. Like, yeah, it was bad. And the highway from Kelowna to Vernon can just be so brutal in general. Anyways, you're here today, and that's what matters. And I'm so grateful that you were able to come. So where can people find you and follow your hilarious life and stories?
An Instagram girly. It is XO.justjen.
With two N's.
With two N's. Jen
Yeah.
with two N's.
Yeah, and if you ever get added to the close stories, that's when you know.
Consider yourself God's favorite.
Yeah. You are part of the Jen Club.
There's like 80 people
Yeah, but it's pretty good. Although you do post some really good stuff just like on your stories and everything too. And yeah, that's our episode for today. So again, thanks for joining. And to everyone watching and listening today, thanks for watching another episode. And I'll be back soon with another. Bye.